circumstances. All right, so the last thing I want to share with you all is this is Obama's dream from his book called What Dreams of My Father. This is from page 372 of his book. Okay? So this is an excerpt from his book. And then this person just happened to, try and decipher it or whatnot. It says Barack Obama once had a dream that he wrote about in his book, Dreams from My Father. It goes like this. I finally fell asleep and dreamed I was walking along a village road. Children dressed only in strings of beads played in front of the round hut, and several old men waved to me as I passed. But I went further along. I began to notice that people were looking behind me fearfully, rushing into their huts as I passed. I heard the growl of a leopard, and started to run into the forest, tripping over roots and stumps and vines, until at last I couldn't run any longer and fell to my knees in the middle of a bright clearing, panting for breath. I turned around to see the day turned night, and a giant figure looming as tall as the trees, wearing only a lion cloth and a ghostly mask. The lifeless eyes bored into me, and I heard a thunderous voice saying only that it was time, and my entire body began to shake violently with the sound, as if I were breaking apart. I jerked up in a sweat, hitting my head against the wall lamp that stuck out over the bunk. In the darkness, my heart slowly evened itself, but I couldn't get back to sleep again. Dreams of, from My Father, page 372. And let's read what this person said. Since I've been studying Christian eschatology, I thought it was quite interesting from that perspective, so I decided to interpret it, if nothing else, from a psychological and spiritual perspective. It's quite revealing, so here goes. Children dressed only in strings of beads played in front of round huts. Children usually represent innocence, and naked children may signify vulnerable ones. The string of beads may indicate spirituality, since rosaries and japamalas are associated with religion. In other words, the children represent pure spirituality and goodness. The round huts may represent churches or other places of religious significance. Several old men waved to me as I passed. Old men represent established religions who acknowledge him. But as I went further along, I began to notice that people were looking behind me fearfully, rushing into their huts as I passed. As he continues his journey, which probably represents his passage through life, he sees that something fearful is following him, so much so that the spiritual people seek shelter in their churches or other religious places. This means what's following him is probably destructive of goodness and represents evil. I heard the growl of a leopard and started to run into the forest. The leopard is interesting. In the in the Bible's book of Revelation and the book of Daniel, both indicate the beast as having the body of a leopard. The leopard may represent the spirit of the Antichrist. In any case, the growl warns him that his this predatory evil is coming for him, so he runs into the forest, tripping over roots and stumps and vines. To escape the pursuing evil, he runs into the forest, probably as a place to hide or elude the leopard. Of course, the leopard is at home in the forest, so the forest represents life on earth, the realm of the devil, with all the obstacles that can trip you up and hold you. In other words, what trips him up are the spiritual pitfalls that allow evil to overcome you. Until at last I couldn't run any longer and fell to my knees in the middle of a bright clearing. He's no longer able to elude the beast because he has to confront his fate and now finds himself in a bright clearing representing vulnerability. There's nowhere to hide. Moreover, the clearing being bright brings stark clarity to his situation. Panting for breath, I turned around to see the day turn night. Night or darkness typically signifies evil. Excuse me. So he's now enveloped in evil and he can no longer see a way out. A a giant figure looming as tall as the trees, wearing only a lion cloth and ghostly mask. The giant figure was the one who sent the beast, the leopard, in other words, the devil. He's very large, indicating his power. He's wearing only a lion cloth, so he's what would be considered a primitive savage. What's more, he's wearing a ghostly mask, indicating that he hides his true face behind an illusory cover. The lifeless eyes bore into me. Eyes are the windows to the soul, and this evil figure is spiritually dead, yet he's able to see into the dreamer. There's no deceiving this devil. He knows who the dreamer is right down to his spiritual and psychological core. And I heard a thunderous voice saying only that it was time. A thunderous voice symbolizes power and authority, and saying that it was time indicates that he can no longer escape some task or purpose in his life. He can't run, he can't hide, he can only surrender to whatever it was he had previously agreed to do. It's like he sold his soul, and now it's time to pay the devil back. And my entire body began to shake violently with the sound, as if I were breaking apart. Not only is he frightened by the power of the voice, so much he's shaking, his identity is falling apart. He will no longer be who he was because the force of the devil's power is transforming him. The old self is being destroyed to be replaced by the vehicle that has the task or purpose. At this point, that the dreamer awakes in a sweat and can't get back to sleep. So is Obama a just a latter-day Dr. Faustus who sold his soul to be president, or could he really be the biblical Antichrist? So that's just that's someone else's interpretation of his dream, and I just thought that it was a very good breakdown of it. And this person also had some of the same information on that page that I shared in my first video. But two things that he added that I didn't really know was that even his home that he owns in Chicago is in the 0600606 zip code, and the law firm that he worked at in Chicago is 0600606 zip code as well. So that was an interesting something new that I didn't know. Anyway, I just wanted to quickly share this video to show that we need to stop pledging allegiance to either side and focus on God, because I believe that both sides are ran by the same being, the same entity. I believe that it's all, I mean, we're in a matrix. We're in a matrix, and you know, this is a spiritual warfare, and there is a great deception going on. We need to keep our eyes on Jesus and stop looking to the right, looking to the left, and getting caught up in distraction. Um, Once again, have a great night, and I hope you all receive some information that you may not have known. I pray that this blesses somebody, even if it blesses one person. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.